The Earth, our homeland, is a dynamic planet. It is constantly undergoing changes inside and outside. Have you ever wondered what lies in the interior of the Earth? What is the Earth made up of? Let's find out. But before we do that, have a look at what we are going to learn in this module. By the end of this module, you will be able to describe the construct of the Earth's interior, identify the various layers of the Earth's interior, identify different types of rock, explain how rocks are formed. Now, let's move on and meet our new friend Dhruv. Dhruv goes to GD Public School, and just like you, he also reads in the 7th standard. As for his hobbies, he loves reading storybooks and playing football. Come, let's find out what he is doing right now. Dhruv is reading a storybook that he has never read before. A book called Journey to the Center of the Earth. Billions of years ago, Earth was a very different place. It was a hot, glowing ball of gases that got transformed into the Earth as we know it today.
What just happened? Am I inside the book? No, this can't be possible.
It is possible, my friend. You are in the book. Now you must get ready for your quest to reach the center of the Earth.
But how I will do that? I don't know anything about the Earth's interior.
Don't worry, I will help you find your answers. The secret about the inside of our Mother Earth can be found in the crystal ball.
Just like an onion, the Earth is made up of several concentric layers with one inside another. If you could cut the Earth from the center, you would be able to see 4 distinct spherical shells, like an onion. Starting from the outside, these layers are the crust, the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. Crust, the uppermost layer of the Earth, is called the crust. It is the thinnest of all the layers. It is about 35 kilometers deep on the continental masses and only 5 kilometers on the ocean floors. Just beneath the crust is the mantle, which extends up to a depth of 2,900 kilometers below the crust. The innermost layer of the Earth, called the core, with a radius of about 3,500 kilometers. It is mainly made up of nickel and iron, so it is called knife. Ni from nickel and Fe from ferrous, that is iron. The core has very high temperature and pressure.
Thanks, Ginny. Now I understood about the 4 main layers of the Earth. But can you tell me more about the crust?
Sure, have a look.
The crust ranges from 5 to 70 kilometers. The thicker crust is continental crust, which is less dense and is composed of silica and alumina. It is thus called Cl Si for silica and Al for alumina. The thin parts are the oceanic crust which underlies the ocean basins. It mainly consists of silica and magnesium. It is therefore called Sima, Si for silica and Ma for magnesium.
Now I am ready to go ahead with my quest. But where should I start from?
I can let you know about that if you answer some of my questions.
Here are the layers of the Earth's surface and their descriptions. You need to match all the layers with their corresponding descriptions. Oops, you have not been able to match all the layers with their appropriate descriptions. Please note the correct answers. Here is the structure of the Earth's surface and the 3 layer tags. You need to tag all the layers in the structure correctly. Oops, you have not been able to tag all the layers in the structure correctly. Please note the correct answers. After Dhruv successfully answered all of the genie's questions, the genie showed Dhruv the spot where he could start digging to begin his journey.
Wow, look at this. These rocks are so big.
Well, indeed, you are surprised. By the way, do you know what the rock is? And how many types of rocks can be found on the Earth's crust?
I don't have a very good idea.
Well then, look into my crystal ball to find answers to these questions.
The Earth's crust is made up of various types of rocks. Any natural mass of mineral matter that makes up the Earth's crust is called a rock. The rocks can be of different color, size and texture. Here are the main types of rocks, namely Igneous rocks, Sedimentary rocks, Metamorphic rocks.
Genie, how are igneous rocks formed? They appear to be hot.
Well, sure they are. Igneous rocks are found when the molten magma, the fiery red lava coming out from the interior of the earth onto its surface, cools down and solidifies. Hence, igneous rocks are also called primary rocks. And they can be further classified into 2 types, extrusive rocks and intrusive rocks. Extrusive rocks. The extrusive igneous rocks are formed when the molten lava comes on the Earth's surface, rapidly cools down and becomes solid. The extrusive rocks have a very fine grained structure. Basalt is an example of extrusive igneous rocks. Also note that the Deccan Plateau is made up of the basalt rocks. Intrusive rocks. The intrusive rocks are formed when the molten magma cools down deep inside the Earth's crust and solidifies without really coming out of the surface. Since in this case the lava cools down slowly, it forms igneous rocks with large grains. Granite is an example of such a rock. Note that the grinding stones used to prepare a paste or powder the spices and grains are made of granite.
Genie, that was very interesting. Now how about the sedimentary rocks? How are they formed?
Well, look into my crystal ball to find that out. Over a period of time, the rocks roll down, crack up, hit each other, and are broken down into small fragments known as sediments. These loose sediments, transported and deposited by wind, water, and various geographic conditions, are compressed and hardened to form layers of rocks. Such types of rocks are called sedimentary rocks. Sandstone, made up from grains of sand, is an example of sedimentary rocks.
Jeannie, like the sedimentary rocks are formed from igneous rocks, is it that metamorphic rocks are formed from sedimentary rock?
Again, you shall find the answer in my crystal ball. Well, under great heat and pressure, both the igneous and sedimentary rocks can change into metamorphic rocks. For example, clay changes into slate and limestone into marble.
Okay Jeannie, now I must carry on with my journey. I need to look for the next point of entry.
Well, I can help you again if you answer some of my questions.
Which of these rocks can contain fossils? Great, that is absolutely correct. Sedimentary rocks may contain fossils of plants, animals and other microorganisms that once lived on them. The fossils are the remains of the dead plants and animals trapped in the layers of the rocks. Which of the following statements about intrusive rocks is correct? Oops, you have not been able to identify the correct option. Please note the correct answer. The intrusive igneous rocks are formed when the molten magma cools down deep inside the Earth's crust and solidifies without really coming out on the surface. Since in the case the lava cools down slowly, it forms igneous rocks with large grains. Granite is an example of such a rock. Here are the three types of rocks found in the Earth's crust and their descriptions. You need to match all the rocks with their corresponding descriptions. Oops, you have not been able to match all the layers with their appropriate descriptions. Please note the correct answer.
Thanks Jeannie, now I need to get back to my home. But before I leave, can you help me recap my learning?
Sure, have a look.
Now you will be able to describe the construct of the Earth's interior, identify the various layers of the Earth's interior, identify different types of rock, explain how rocks are formed.